And now I am so sorry to the panel that was ready at 2:15 and we made you wait. Yeah, you've been ready from 12:30 as well, so it's all on us. It's all on us. Sincere apologies once again. On fortifying the core, building a cyber resilient and geopolitically agile GBS model, if I could invite, please, Dr. Lopa Mudra Basu, who is cybersecurity thought leader at and MD at Cybersecurity and Technology Controls InfoSec Gurukul. Mr. Ramaprasad Kumar, Secretary, ISACA Bangalore Chapter. Mr. Deepak Singh, President and CEO of the Gorisco Group. Mr. Venkatesh PS, Global Director of Business Resilience and Corporate Security at Cognizant. Mr. Sandeep Bansal, Group CIO, A1 Steel, and Mr. Santosh Tripathi, Director, Information Security and Compliance, Virsec Systems. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, panelists, and delegates. I would like to thank the organizers, Santosh ji and Mahe, for providing this platform to connect us with you all. We convened at the defining moment where cybersecurity now eclipsed the operational risks geopolitically and shaped the business decision. The digital trust defines market leadership for GBS and GCC ecosystem. Resilience is no longer a technology construct. It's a kind of board level mandate today and strategic differentiator. As enterprise conform to the cyber warfare, fractured supply chain, regulatory fragmentation, and AI-led disruption, the critical question has shifted from if to how. First, can we recover and lead after disruption? India stands at a strategic inflection point where its scale, digital depth, and talent strength, it can evolve from global delivery hub to a global cyber resilience and recovery center, provided governance, leadership, and execution rest in equal measures. Today, panel will move beyond the optimism to realistic leadership, from boardroom risks to recovery velocity, and from cloud first to resilience first thinking. Let's begin this vital conversation on fortifying the core and shaping the future ready, geopolitically agile GBS model. Venkatesh, let's start with you. When boards across the globe meet today, what are the three most critical cyber resilience risks related conversation for IT and GBS leaders?
Hi, this is Venkatesh here. I'm from Cognizant. I handle the global business resilience practice. Thanks for this opportunity, Lopa and the team, Manipal. So with respect to answer to the question, the top question from the board nowadays is, are we resilient? Right? That question is $1 million question, because considering the pandemic that we only saw the word pandemic in our BCM terms many years back, but last 4 years we are living with that term, right? So companies were not prepared on that. So COVID really taught a lot of companies a lesson about what is the importance of having organization resilience. So the main question is, are we ready to face the cyber attacks or AI attacks with respect to the AI adoptions, number one. Number two, with respect to the return of investment. So now everyone talking about investing in AI, cloud, and everything. So board is very much keen to know, guys, you asked me, I just approved, so you implemented. Are you getting the return of investment? What is the numbers? Okay, the value added, the benefits that we are getting. That is number two. Considering the different geopolitical stuffs and GBS across the world, the delivery centers across the world, if some center goes down, are we ready to operate from another center? That is another main question. If at all that particular center has to be recovered, what is your strategy to bring that particular center up, and what is your what is it, time that you will take to recover that center? That is number one. If at all you can't recover that center, what is your strategy to run the business without that particular center, or what is your plan to run your business leaving that center from another center? So these three things plays a very important question from during the boardroom discussion.
Very well articulated, Venkatesh. Now, Deepak, a direct question to you. Is India truly ready to be the world's default cyber resilience GBS destination? Where do we, clearly outperform, and what are the areas where we remain structurally fragile?
Thank you, Lopa, for that question, and thank you, Mahe, for hosting us. If you ask me, are we ready today? Is India ready today? No, not at all. We have a long way to go. But then, are we getting there? Of course, we are getting there. If you see, there have been initiatives from central government, right? We have a lot of things that they are working on. Last year in 2024, India actually got tier 1 trust level with respect to the global cybersecurity index, which means that the efforts that India and Indians are putting in, people are able to recognize that, right? So there have been initial initiatives as well from government, like there is cybersecurity innovation, champions related events, and events means I'm talking about people who are new to cybersecurity, even they are participating in that challenge to prove that, okay, we have some homegrown capabilities that we can deliver, we can build some solutions around that. So government is trying to promote that, of course, no doubt about it. Benefit with India is that we have a wide pool of talent. We do not have that depth compared to other, I'm talking about the other global locations. We have wide pool of talents. We have cost-effective solutions. We have the benefit in terms of what is the cost that we will pay for Indian population or workforce compared to others. That advantage is there. But then there are situations where we are not doing that well compared to global companies, right? Like for example, if I say that is India deep into cutting edge technologies, are we investing enough? Are we doing enough? Do we have so many startups which are actually working on deep technologies? No, not there, right? There are a lot of other countries who are doing much better than that. Since beginning, actually, India has been more into services and things like that. So that way, I would say that India has a long way to go there. But then there are too many efforts and people who are working on this cybersecurity field. There are global capability centers that are coming up. Global organizations are considering India as one of their favorite destinations. But we are not fully ready. We cannot say that we are the default, selection for a GBS. No, we are one of the options right now. So if we have to say truly default, that means we should be the first option for them, right? We are not there yet, but we are getting there soon. That would be my response.
So basically, we have the advantage of talent pool. We have the advantage of cost-effective solution. I would not say India is a cost-cutting solution. It is more cost-effective solution, as well as kind of flexibility we have as a nation.
Yes,
that is going to value add for us in this long run. Sandeep, coming to you, the seesaw role is being redefined under the constant cyber conflict and geopolitical uncertainty. How has the CIO mandate fundamentally shifted due to that?
So, if I see today, the CIO role is not basically looking towards only one part of managing the infrastructure side. So, CIO role is moving towards a strategic role. A strategic role where he has to work towards from monitoring to getting himself ready to understand what is happening across, okay, or you can say predictive security, which he has to consider. And the strategic role of CIO is moving where he has to understand the business practices, what is happening, geopolitical changes can impact the business. And he has to work on multiple aspects on one go, whether it is managing the infrastructure side, from geopolitical side of it, business resilience side of it. So he has to ensure all those things to be functional, understanding the growing challenges which is happening today. And on the front of CIO role, it is becoming more strategic rather than executive.
So basically, CIO role is elevating due to this, and from a C-suite executive role to more at the board level.
Yeah, so basically to define
A business
strategy.
leader.
Yeah, business leader and strategist, where he has to foresee the coming threats and get himself ready for that.
Great. So when we talk about laws related to, GCC, global business services, everything today, we cannot avoid one thing, that is cyber. So Santosh, when we talk about the cyber, we can see that attack scenario itself changing today. So nation-state attack, ransomware cartels, and supply chain breaches are now, kind of semantic. We cannot say that something is 100% secure, irrespective of the investment from a people, process, and technology perspective. How are this reshaping the cyber architecture of modern GBS organizations?
Thank you, Lopa, for this very warm question. I can recall in the year 2015, if a person is working for a company called ABC, so definitely his perimeter is only around that ABC. He was least bothered about what is happening in other platform. But look for me, I work for a product company. So my product has a lot of software which has SBOM, single bill of material, and it has a lot of component. The moment my product goes to production, I have to make sure every component that is in there, my product, it should be secure, it should be upgraded. Then some of my resources are on AWS. Then I do have concern for AWS security also. I have a lot of vendors who are working for me, then I do have concern for them also. I do have few MSSP resources. Now again, their security is my security. Apart from this, I have a lot of applications which are being used in my environment, like Zscaler, so many other platforms, not to name them, but now I have a posture where I have to look after not only my security, but every component which is linked up with me. So from infrastructure to MSSP to my own product to third-party risk, it is all coming under a bucket of security. Now when it comes to nation-state attacks, definitely there are so many challenges. People generally target for privileged identity. They do target for shared cloud resources. They do target for a shared resource model as well. So now things are changing a lot. Now when it comes to supply chain attacks, we all can recall what happened in 2020, the SolarWind attack. Now one particular Orion application of the push, which had this sunburst Trojan, it went into almost 18,000 in organizations. So it went so good, so successful, that it had an impact on all those 18,000 organizations with just small click of update. This is what the supply chain attack is. And it was not the problem of the OEM. It was the problem of that particular push that has been given to all those organizations. Now third, coming to ransomware, which is very common nowadays, people are afraid of it. Because the moment a ransomware attack happens, it comes into the media, it comes to all platforms, and then the major thing is disruption of business, which no company ever look for it. Now people have to become fragile, leadership has to become fragile, people have to look security very seriously, and not from the organization point of view. Every link that is associated with the company, it has to be analyzed, evaluated, and a lot of actions are supposed to be remediated in terms of actions, policies, people, so many things are supposed to be evaluated. So what we have seen 2 years back are not the case right now. Things are changing, I believe, every day. So security has to be taken very seriously as per the pacing round we have.
So basically, that entire ecosystem going complex, and when it has become so complex, it's very important to manage it effectively, as a project sometimes, as a program sometimes. So Ramaprasad, from governance lens, what are the most common failure you see in large GBS digital program that directly undermine the resilience? How does those project failure become a cyber failure?
Thank you, Lopa and Mahe, for this opportunity. Yeah, rightly said, the answer is already part of the question, because when you call for governance, right, it's always when you have success, there is no governance mentioned. But when there is a failure, governance is directly attributed to that. Because, yeah, it is true, because governance should have an oversight mechanism, not just by supporting financial resources, but oversight on how it is going, whether it is the scope defined is being adhered to, right? That's the most important thing. And we are always giving 10,000 feet mandate for the operations to run. Okay. For example, Australian Stock Exchange, a large program for their clearing house, right? It failed miserably. Lot of root cause being done, but again attributed to governance directly, right? The Volkswagen car aid program, which were directly supporting the EV, right? They could not launch their EV on time. Why? Again, it points back to governance failures, right? Apart from governance, if you look, there are certain critical dependencies. For example, third party, you rely on third-party services. Cloudflare, for example, recent one, the Cloudflare outage. Many organizations, worldwide outage, right? And the CrowdStrike outage also, the Microsoft. So many, while selecting the vendor itself, you should have the strategic alignment with whether they are able to, the right fit for us, our business model. Okay, and the solutions, how dependable are they considering the current scenario? Because the past history doesn't play doesn't add any value because of evolving technology, right? So second one is that finally, I'd like to say, if there is an attributable pillar of that responsibility, the governance, nonetheless being said, governance has to play a role. The oversight has to be more important. That is my buzzword. Second one was when there is a failure, how does it translate? Okay, I would have built an architecture for a certain solution, right? When there's a failure in any one of the component, the whole architecture is exposed. The attack surface increases, literally. And for example, identity management, if I am able to not implement identity management effectively, the whole of program is shelved. So a lot of investment is gone in terms of time and in terms of money. Okay. And delay in addressing certain risks also will get such an impact that I'd like to quote Babylon Healthcare. They committed their digital program in such a way that they were able to take risks initially. From the regulator, they promised that they will take on the risk which is coming their way. Finally, resulting in shutting down of Babylon Healthcare itself. The catastrophe, right? So totally, it is, how do I say, governance has to be more vigilant in terms, not just giving mandates and being a part of the plan.
Great. So when we talk about this kind of, complex scenario, and each of these are interconnected. Now, Deepak, organization, we have evident that they're struggling to unify their cyber recovery, BCP, and crisis governance. How do we architect a single integrated resilience fabric that would be able to, support the organization?
Okay, so now the first thing that we should ensure is we do not allow this to be a siloed operation. I think the previous panel discussion also, people were talking about systems not talking to each other, teams not talking to each other. When we talk about siloed, the communication between different functions and different teams is very, very important. Okay. Now, when we talk about all these aspects, there are two things how I would suggest that the organization should focus on that. One is integrated GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance, and second is organizational resilience. Now, when we say integrated GRC, whether it is governance, risk, or compliance, you need not talk only about cybersecurity governance or operational governance. You have to talk about all the aspects. So if you, I'm not sure if you have seen ISO 22316, which is the ISO standard for organizational resilience. It talks about not just business continuity, it talks about information security, cyber security, financial management, HR management, right? Crisis management, emergency response, everything. So when you talk about the resilience, right, all these things have to be integrated together. They have to work in a connected way, and only then you will be able to respond to the incident or respond to the whatever is the disaster appropriately. Now, out of all these, because we are into that consulting business, so when we work with the clients on ensuring that can we build resilience into them, they understand that this is not just about business continuity. Resilience has multiple things to be taken care of, right? So if you talk about cyber resilience, is cyber resilience enough from the perspective of just cyber resilience, no focus on crisis management? No, it's not, right? Today it has to be integrated. So 2 pointers, one is integrated GRC model, and second is implementation of a holistic organizational resilience based on ISO 316, whatever you have, 22316. That would be my point.
So basically, this program are interconnected, and people need to interact with each other to have a kind of, clearly defined communication channel, as well as a kind of integrated architecture.
Correct. People and systems.
Both.
Absolutely.
And a sub-process which is going to seamlessly support this entire activity in a holistic way.
Exactly.
Great. Now, when we talk about such a huge scale implementation, system talking with each other, people talking with each other, supporting, process, it's a huge investment. And when it is investment, leaders often ask what would be the ROI from that investment. And that's not wrong. That is something, that is a criteria to measure the investment going on, the kind of huge investment. So, Ramaprasad, what is the real business return on cyber resilience investment, and how can mid-sized GCC design a cost-effective program? Because when it is coming to a huge-size enterprise, they design it in a very different way. But it's a challenge for mid-sized business today, because some of the GCC certainly, designed to support a business which are very highly regulated and may not permit just to allow them to allow their third party to support certain area or outsource something. So they need to build that capacity also.
Here is an interesting fact. If I say a third largest GDP of a non-state is the cybercrime today. Okay. So people were hesitant a decade back or 5 years back saying, I'm not going to invest something on a new technology, right? But then today's scenario is keep up that resilience, okay? I don't mind ROI because typically, as Santosh was quoting, the ransomware attacks, right? They cost the business itself. I mean, if you encrypt all my data and demand billions of dollars, where's that? After that, post that, what happens also is regulators fine you. They penalize you because it's not your data. You're playing with customers' data. You're playing with the patient's data or the regulator data itself, right? So the traditional method of ROI, right, may not apply. Even CAGR, for example, CAGR may apply because if you are saved from a certain attack, that is your gain. It is always intangible but perceivable because when it hits you, it's like having a goodwill. If someone hits your goodwill, it's gone. You can't measure it, right? So likewise, if you are investing something, you don't need to actually do a quantitative metric analysis for that. You always say that in an industry, my competitor paid 1 billion in damages. Rather, I've avoided that, so that's a saving for me. Like that. So that approach has to change from quantification to qualitative aspects, right? Also, when you get hit by an attack, typically fintech companies or banks, people lose confidence. It's as good as losing business. I may withdraw my savings. I may withdraw all the relationship itself if I'm not assured of a certain a level of safety, right? And we have seen cases where within 72 hours, if you report a cyber crime or go to your branch, bank itself has to reimburse you that. There is an RBI mandate like that, which is being, but within 72 hours, right? So think about that. Now, what does the bank think? Now, I have to shield myself with awareness campaign. I have to invest something. I have to shield against a certain, I have to do an MFA. Let me do that MFA. Okay, I don't care, but it has to be there. So that's one approach. Second part is whenever a mid-sized GCC is there, it's always cost optimization. The labor arbitrage or the infrastructure arbitrage that I'm coming may be compensated by something else. Because I am a GCC, I do have a relationship with the geography around me, right? Where I can leverage, for example, SOC centers, India versus Philippines. If you have already there, GCC there or SOC there, leverage it from there as a shared service, okay? If you are someone whose core is a product and you're dealing with product, focus on the product. Outsource the unwanted services. It is more cost effective so that you focus your entire strength on your core areas, right? The other point is whenever as a player I have risks, classify all your crown jewels and address those risks only, which are of priority. Right? You don't need to go behind every risk, right? And if you quantify it, is still better. So address only those risks which are applicable to you and prioritize it. Finally, cloud services is there today for everything. So you don't have to have a, how do I say, incentive for setting up GCC here itself. You can do it from cloud, many of the services, right? Finally, there is some talent pool if you have. Reskill or upskill them, okay, so that you can redeploy them as and when there is as the shift left concept happened, right? So many of them got reskilled. Likewise, you could find those opportunities as well for GCCs.
Yeah, I have one point to add. In terms of this ROI, right, every time when one of my clients asks something like that, okay, we are investing this many $100,000 or $1 million, what is the ROI? So my take is, consider these investments as the insurance premium that you pay for your life. Will you say that last year I didn't die so it got waste? It's not like that. You are paying the premium every year because if it happens, then you know it comes to your rescue. Then you know that you are saved, your family members are saved. That is the reason why you are paying premium every year, right? So if you do not do these investments that are required at this point of time, then tomorrow if something happens, then you will not be left anywhere, right? So that's why it's very important for you to consider as a insurance premium. I will invest on this year on year, try to mature my processes, people, technologies to ensure that if it happens, I am prepared. I will respond to it accordingly. Okay, that's it.
Great. So basically, when we look at all this component, investing so much, we are building a defense which is act as a, defense a country is maintaining. You are maintaining the same for your business territory. But very importantly, we need to keep testing it to understand how effective it is. So my question to Venkatesh, traditional stress testing is no longer enough for, in the age of cyber, in the age of AI. How should organization test a simultaneous cyber, geopolitical, cloud, and vendor failure scenario in seamless fashion?
Yeah, good question. See, Deepak already covered about the process that any company should follow to ensure that they are resilient, right? So it becomes very important to revise that process and have the right, your critical resource to go through this process in timely fashion. So, for example, in my company or any other company, we have a process of making every project team to go through their whatever their that critical BCP plan or whatever, they have to go through it, and they have to conduct attend a quiz, so that once they clear that only, it is taken as a granted that particular a team which is working on the ground, they knew the process, which is very, very important for them to know to recover their project during any event. Okay, so that gives one strong message to the project that the project is preparing towards resiliency. Okay, they can come back when there is a real incident. Okay, so preparing that project to go through all the process on timely fashion and make sure that they are up to date. Number one. Number two, you have something like a call tree where once in a while you need to send a message to all your people, all your critical stakeholders, whether they are reachable, whether they are available and all, and you have to record that and you have to give that score back to the business, so that during a real time, you will know that when I am reaching this person, he is in the position to respond me back. So this kind of quality test also is widely followed across the world in different domains, whether it may be a service-based company or manufacturer or whatever, to make sure that your critical resources are available when you are calling them. Okay, it may be in a phone call, it may be SMS or whatever. Okay, that is number 2. Number 3 is tabletop exercise. See, until unless you can talk so many things, you can put so many things in paper and you can have team to go through. But until unless you put them to dirty their hands, they will not be adopting during a real time. So conduct lot of rigorous tabletop exercise. Okay, bring all the team on the ground at the different level, right from your C-suite guys and middle management and the lower people, to have a tabletop kind of thing. Hey, there is a cyber attack. What is your role play? What you will do? To whom you will call? Who will communicate next? And what is your role? Like that. Create a role play kind of thing at different levels and prepare your team, all the 3 different set of people in your organization, to be prepared with the help of tabletop exercise. Only this tabletop exercise alone will keep you to tell yourself that you are resilient, because you never know tomorrow or next minute you are going to have an incident. Until unless you prepare the team by putting a problem statement in front of them, prepare them with the help of tabletop, they can't always they can't have in they can't be in a perception. You have to make them to practically follow a tabletop, make them to learn, so that they are ready for the to resilient for their project or company or their whatever during a disaster. So the 3 steps are very, very important. It may be 10 years old, but this is very, very widely practiced now also across the world.
So basically,
and these test results has to be captured. It has to be bifurcated based on your geography, different your departments or different regions, and it has to go to up to the board, so that you will know where exactly you have risk factor, where you have to focus more, where you have to press the red button, where you have to give more attention. So you will get lot of information from these test results, so that you can make your organization more resilient.
So basically, exercise making the organization perfect.
Exercise, preparation, all those things, yeah.
So Venkatesh, as follow-up question, you have a huge industry experience. So while conducting this kind of test, we need to engage our executives, top management, middle management. What is the most weakest link coming up as an outcome, that where people are more ignorant? Which level?
See, frankly speaking, middle management is okay, but the lower this thing is, they are the guys who are working on the ground. They are very much concerned about how I am going to keep my customer happy. What is my day-to-day deliverable? They will least bother about what is my responsibility towards making my my things resilient. Okay, they will only break their head during a real time. Okay, so I'm seeing a weak link with respect to the people who are on the ground. Likewise, it was kind of ignorance at the top level also till we hit the pandemic. Till pandemic, we had lot of lethargicity with the leadership team to be part of the BCM calls or resilience calls and all. They feel that everything will work fine if something goes wrong. I have a team, I have team across the world, I have everyone there. But until unless you really soil your hands, dirty your hands during a real time, you will not know whether how prepared they are. So now after this pandemic, I am seeing all the C-suite people, as someone was talking, they take this as a very, very serious, and they are part of all this resilience call, and they are putting their brains and minds to be, to make their organization towards a resiliency journey.
So basically, pandemic is not only elevated the cloud services 40%, also elevated some of the function of the organization which are mandatory but thankless function.
Exactly.
Now, while doing all this regulation, because government also need to ensure, as a country, as a nation, we are ready, right? So they are also supporting the business. From that perspective, Santosh, are Indian enterprise regulation ready or merely regulation reactive? How prepared are GCC for DPDP Act 2023, CERT mandate 6 hours reporting, global data transfer, cross-border regulation? What is your view on that?
So I'll again reiterate what Deepak just stated before in the first question itself, that are we ready? We are becoming ready. Are we fully ready? No, not to that stage. Now again, I'm very happy to update all of us that 65% US company security is being managed by Indians, being in India. This is what we are. But when it comes to our own infrastructure, when it comes to our own regulations, are we ready? No. You'll be seeing a lot of Indian companies, they do not follow law for any reason. Either we are not aware or we know how to get our tasks done. I am very much thankful to the government of India who recently came up with DPDP. It has the entire process listed from data generation to processing to execution to storage to deletion also. We do have very clearly highlighted things, who will do what, and if something is not done, what would be the penalty. And I definitely want to see penalties are being levied. If you'll go for any GCC, global GCC, people are very much into HIPAA, high-tech, high-trust, PCI DSS, or maybe, for example, GDPR. They are very much afraid of those regulations because something goes wrong, they are being fired, penalties are being levied. But when it comes to India, we know how to take our tasks done. Yesterday only, I have been approached by an Indian who, CFO, who was asking me, Santosh, my ISO got expired in 25th of July. Do you know somebody who can get this reactivated within 1 week of time? This is what we are leading. And unfortunately, I'm sure somebody will support him also. Until and unless this seriousness will not come through this fine levies or some regulatory framework will not go to that level. Now, there are so many things which are coming up. We are becoming aware. But the position that we are holding for US companies, we have to hold the same position for Indian companies also. We are smart. We are cyber aware. We know how to follow the regulations. That tweak has to be inserted by fine, by awareness, or maybe by government enforcement. So we are ready. That tweak is needed.
Very perfectly nailed, because one problem even I have experienced, we are as an professional, I'm not telling that 1, 2, 3 or 4. Entire country culture is we are very respectful for others when it is coming the person or the law coming from outside, but we are very negligent for our own laws. We are. It's a time where we need to learn for our sustenance that, we need to show the respect to our own law, and it's high time to show the respect to our own people, our own professional, actually rule this world and also, get the benefit of this digital ecosystem, what we as a nation rolling out today.
So compliance, you rightly said, sorry to interrupt, but compliance on paper looks fancy.
Yes.
Looks lightning. But what we need is compliance by design.
Correct.
That's where we should head.
Correct. By design, by default. Yes,
so just to add to Santosh's statement, that we are not completely ready because GDPR, HIPAA, these are all, the context is MNCs. They come with their own set of over-compliances also. But when you look at the ecosystem, the MSMEs who are at a disadvantage, do not have just enough capital to sustain their business. Tell them to adopt in 2027, they will do it in 2029 because it is just because they need the capital support. The expectation that it's similar to CBAM, right? EU is asking me to comply with the environment standards, but I do not have capability or capital to adopt those practices. Same with DPDP, right? So, I mean, the mandate is good, but the effectiveness has to be measured over a period of time.
Also, the challenge today, what I can see that, data is a new currency, and we as a country don't have a kind of, very tight privacy culture, which is leading us to another problem. And a cultural shift is required completely. Now, when we talk about all this, end of the day, whatever machine we have in place, we need people. People to support that, people to need innovate, people to run the program, people to need, govern the thing. So, Sandeep, is India facing cyber resilient talent crisis at leadership and execution level, how should GCC build a leadership pipeline, not just a SOC team or a, security administrator glorified as a CISO?
Very good question, actually, Lopa. Who is there to execute the things? Today, leadership has to work towards creating the strategy for the organization. They have to work to draw, on the data sovereignty. He has to plan for the application to work in the cases where if there is any geopolitical situation arises. Because today, it is not about hackers who is hacking your application and going down. Your application is also going offline due to the geopolitical situations. So in that case, the strategist or the leadership needs to be strong enough. And to fill this gap, GCC need to work on bringing up people from the cross-functional teams to work and understand how the resiliency, how it should be built up. Because we need the people from business, we need the people from tech, we need from all the aspect. I was listening to one of the panel discussion happening before us, and that was talking for, I think they are from HR, right? And they were talking about, people should learn, we should upskill ourselves. Other than upskilling, what is more important is we should be keeping ourselves aligned to what we are. I mean to say, if a person is from HR, he should work on the functional role of HR. He should not get stabbed into the tech role. Similarly, when there is a person who has in a GCC, when they are choosing for people, there should be people bringing from all the aspects, because the business people will guide what is going to be the impact of a geopolitical situation to their business and how the tech is going to help them to come out of that situation. So both have to work hand in hand to come out of that situation, right? So we cannot hand over the tech to a business user, to you manage the tech as well, and draw the business, both the things. That is not possible. And the tech cannot drive the business. So both have to work together. And GC has to bring cross-functional team and, bringing those managers, those are basically today's, because the SOC managers, they have to evolve themselves towards more than managers, those are managing only the monitoring part, rather than they have to look beyond it from the threats which is coming up.
So it's a very interesting topic, right? And when we have such a knowledgeable and experienced panel, we can go hour and hour discussing. But we need to limit ourselves also. So considering that, a quick question, kind of rapid fire. So let's start with Santosh. Santosh, cyber insurance, strategic asset or a false assurance?
Cyber insurance is definitely a strategic asset, but it is a false insurance when the controls are not placed properly. We have a door, but it should be locked as well.
Okay. Venkatesh, one resilience KPI every board must track.
Resiliency readiness health score, which we are doing in Cognizant, it really works very, very good. Board is really liking it. I'm very sure other boards also will like. That will give each and every your locations, every country's resiliency readiness score. So easily board will understand where exactly the problem, where they have to focus to fix.
Great. Sandeep, biggest unseen geopolitical risks in cyber?
So biggest risk as of today, I see, data sovereignty and, lot of data lying in lot of other areas, not at single locations, plus broken internet, services across the regions. I mean to say, if there is something, one place it stopped, it can really halt the entire system. So I believe we have to define our boundaries, and we should define where to work and how it should be. We should have some controls on our applications. So that is very important.
Deepak, one cyber resilience myth organizations still believe in?
Yeah, so it is very frequent because when we work with multiple clients, we have seen this. So a lot of these organizations who have enough money, enough budget, right? What they do is they go ahead and purchase all the type of latest tools, costly tools, trying to say that, okay, now we have this tool, we will protect ourselves, no further cyber attacks and this and that. I mean, that is a myth. This is not cyber resilience.
Exactly.
Cyber resilience means whatever happens, I mean, you are preventing, which is fine. But if the attack happens, how will you continue to provide your services and products still? And that effectiveness, which focuses on business continuity and recovery capabilities, that is not being focused. People think that, okay, I have investment in prevention and that's enough. That is a myth.
Very, very important point. Cyber resiliency is not tool. It's the brain behind strategy and the shock absorbing capacity. In this cyber world, where 100% assurance or 100% security, if somebody is talking about 100%, it is the biggest risk organization is carrying on the head. And that shock absorbance capacity, bouncing back to the business, is the actual resilience. Now, Ramaprasad.
I would like to add one thing.
Please.
And one biggest myth is that I have a backup of my data lying in my own data center, and data center is also in the same building. And I also have one more copy that is in the hard disk, which is taken in my drawer, which is also in the same building.
Correct.
So I don't know, means how the resiliency we are talking about.
So, Ramaprasad, one future skill every GBS leader must master.
Definitely a collaboration. That means today we are in a scenario, right? Everyone is saying, I'll have to adopt AI. But adoption of AI is one way, but how to apply it to your organization and your context with the people, right? That is the collaborative skill that each leader has to see. And that means he himself as a leader has to understand, how do I apply AI deep down inside my organization?
Thank you to our distinguished panel for bringing such a, exponentially sharp and forward-looking discussion. Today's conversation mode are truly a kind of, interesting, and one thing it is uncovering that cyber resilience is no longer about the recovery alone. It is about strategic advantage, national competitiveness, and leadership velocity. Cyber resilience has shifted from IT control, process control, to a board mandate, business surveillance strategy. AI acceleration without AI governance is not an innovation. That is enterprise huge risks at the speed up machine. India is no longer competing only cost and scale basis. It is now competing on cyber resiliency, recovery speed, and digital trust. That is our new capability. And that's going to bring a huge opportunity as a country, because we are a huge size nation. It's going to open a new door for our future and the next generation. India has the talent and the scale and intend to become a global cyber recovery command center. Execution will decide the outcome. With that, we are formally closing the panel. Thank you all for listening, and now panel is open for a question. If you have any question, please feel free to ask.
Mr. Sandeep Bansal. Mr. Venkatesh PS. Mr. Deepak. Mr. Deepak Singh. Mr. Ramaprasad Kumar. And thank you, Dr. Lopa Mudra Basu. Thank you. If I may call on stage Dr. Suman Ghosh for the GBS Leadership Excellence Award.
We could survive the crisis and come.
For that, let's give him a hand. Yeah. Thank you. And Mr. Ajit Prabhakar from VisionNet. Now, in a special recognition from Philips, we're thrilled to announce that Philips is recognizing the GCPIT essentially for their contribution to the groundbreaking Green Heart program powered by Philips Heartprint Services towards creating sustainable health ecosystem in workplaces. I'd like to call Mr. Nandan Bhatia over, please, Director CAD Venture, to felicitate Mr. Santosh.
Thank you so much. I wish more people would have been there, but we sincerely recognize the efforts of Mr. Santosh and the entire Global Business Services Summit 2025 to promote the sustainable health. I think it's very, very important to make our workspaces healthier and ensure that the living is much more appreciated by everyone, especially in the corporate ecosystem. And thank you so much, to allow Philips Heartprint Services to speak in the morning. Mr. Adarsh spoke today that how much important it is, right, to get the early warning to prevent the diseases, right? And I think that's is very, very critical for all of us. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Bhatia has also shared a QR code for heart health scan, and if anyone would like to share it with us, I have one. So please feel free to come over and scan this. I'm sure it helps. Talent Magnet Awards 2025 for talent acquisition, beginning with Arnav Yogi, Vice President of Talent Acquisition, Delta Capital, sorry. Mr. Subbu Iyer, Founder and CEO, Giga Technologies Private Limited. Mr. Ajit Prabhakar, oh, we've done that well. Mr. Bhavat AN, Associate VP, Growth Shenzhen. Ms. Swapna Jadhav, Talent Leader Talent Acquisition, Cisco Systems. Mr. Anjan A, Vice President Northern Trust. Mr. Sunny Vashish, AVP HR, Reliance Nippon Life Insurance. Mr. Dipanshu Anand, Regional Head of Talent Acquisition Operations for Sweden and EMEA. Ms. Archita Rahul, Assistant VP Global Talent Acquisition at Virsec Group. Ms. Kalyani Gajarla. On behalf of GCPIT, I'd like to thank each of you for being here, lending your expertise and contributing to a shared vision of inclusive borderless growth. And more than anything, for your patience waiting through the day for each and every event. Thank you so much.